Today it's my honour and privilege to celebrate this significant 50th anniversary of my ordination to the priesthood in this beautiful church of St Gregory the Great. I'm most grateful to the parish priest, Father Charles Balnaves, who has been so gracious in making this possible, and for the parishioners of this parish for their support. I thank each one of you here today for joining me in the thanksgiving to the Lord for his gift to me of 50 years of priestly ministry. Most of all, the love and support of family and friends and parishioners across the years has been a constant to me, and I'm humbled to think of all the support I have received during those years. In the Jewish tradition, a jubilee was celebrated every 7 years and a great jubilee every 50 years. The jubilee year was inaugurated by blowing a trumpet. I do not propose to blow my own trumpet on this occasion of my jubilee, and I decided to preach the homily myself to ensure that nobody else did it. Because there is a very real risk that in attempting to blow my trumpet, they may be forced to exaggerate the truth or even invent the truth. I feel humbled by the kindness of priests, my family, friends, parishioners of St Gregory, who have honoured me with this Mass of thanksgiving and the many good wishes, with the occasional ad mortus annus. You will forgive me if I take the opportunity to reminisce as my thoughts go back to that wonderful day when I received the sacrament of Holy Orders. I was ordained to the priesthood for the Archdiocese of Melbourne by Bishop Kearns at St Joseph's Church, Redcliffs, on the 18th of August 1972. Following my ordination, for over 3 decades, I have served in a number of parishes of the Archdiocese of Melbourne, and also a brief sojourn in the Archdiocese of Hobart for 3 years. Until 2003, when Archbishop Hart appointed me as Dean of St Patrick's Cathedral, then some 4 months later as Vicar General of the Archdiocese. I might add that when I rang some friends from my Roval days to tell them that I'd been appointed Vicar General, the lady very insightfully said, "You must have made a mess of the cathedral to get moved so quickly." Then, as many of you know, on the 5th of May 2009, I was appointed by Pope Benedict XVI as titular Bishop of Saneti and an auxiliary Bishop of Melbourne. And at that time, I was given the responsibility of this eastern region of the Archdiocese, so it's all quite familiar to me. I was ordained the Bishop at St Patrick's Cathedral on the 17th of June 2009. Some 2.5 years later, on the 3rd of February 2012, Pope Benedict appointed me as Bishop of Sandhurst, where I served for 7.5 years until my retirement in 2019. Since my ordination as a priest, I have baptised, confirmed, blessed marriages, and buried many parishioners. And I have offered daily Mass nearly every day for half a century. During these years of service, I have been loved and cared for and made at home by many parishioners in the parishes in which I have served, who have become dear friends. And so with gratitude to each and every one of you, I welcome you all here today, family and friends who have supported me so strongly on my journey as a priest. To love God and to love God's people is at the very centre of a priest's existence. To live out that in prayer and service is the way that priests make sense of their life and find meaning. I'm very sure that my brother priests will all agree with me as we recall vividly the day of our ordination to the priesthood. It is impossible for us to forget, because we were about to become priests, ordained to walk in the footsteps of Christ. Perhaps some of us went forward with dreams that were never realised, churches that were never built, ambition that was never satisfied. Nevertheless, in the middle of it all, for me, there has always been a certain sense of being supported by God, who helped me to do good deeds, some that I remember, others that have been remembered by parishioners of the past who touched my life, and in more recent times have expressed some gratitude for deeds I had forgotten. There are so many things on which I could reflect today, so many changes that have taken place in society, in our sense of self, in how we build community, in the church. These years are times of brightness and shadow, as in fact all times are. However, the readings of our Mass push me insistently and gently to one theme above all, a theme which is so central to our faith and to my journey, the theme of the presence and mystery of God in our lives. In fact, today's Gospel reading tells us of Jesus' advice to the disciples sent on a mission. He told them to travel light, to trust in God, to need little. The same approach would always carry on. The same approach would always carry on to their way of living. Over the 50 years of my priesthood, I have come to realise that growth in discipleship does truly seem to be more a matter of letting go than of gaining, of surrendering control, of learning to accept one's powerlessness and total need before God, rather than of trying to look good and to be in a position of strength. Jesus used an image for the point of entry to the experience of ultimate salvation, the narrow doorway. What mattered for Jesus was that disciples truly listened to him, shaped their lives according to his values, and learned to love. Anything else served only to inflate the self-image and make entry through the narrow door impossible. And so, my friends, as I mark the golden jubilee of my priesthood, it's a wonderful occasion when I celebrate a life of faithful commitment and love of God and of his people. However, I have known that in difficult moments it has been God's grace that has sustained them. But I've had to say yes to that grace. So today I ask that with me you give thanks to God for his grace and for my yes. In the last 50 years, especially since Vatican II, priests have been confronted by all sorts of challenges to themselves and to their authority and to their lives and their ministry. As a priest now for over 50 years, I have tried to meet those challenges. A jubilee is but a staging post, a moment to reflect on a journey thus far, to try to grasp its gifts and its lessons. It is also a time in which to take a glimpse of what lies ahead. Each year the feast of Christmas sums this up. Jesus' desire to be with us, to greet us with outstretched arms, to draw us to himself, and to be for us the true path to our ultimate home. This feast so tremendously discloses the beauty of the mystery of God, a beauty inscribed in each one of us, the beauty that will find its fulfilment in God's good time. As I reflect and try to take the glimpse ahead, I'm reminded again of the oft-quoted words of St. Teresa of Avila, which are appropriate for all baptised Christians, but especially, perhaps, for priests. To quote St. Teresa, Christ has no body now on earth but yours, no hands but yours, no feet but yours. Yours are the eyes through which Christ's compassion is to look out to the world. Yours are the feet with which he is to go about doing good. Yours are the hands with which he is to bless us now. So, I do look back in gratitude for my call to the priesthood. As I get older, time seems to pass so much more quickly, and my sense of joy and happiness is matched by the ever keener sense of the mystery of life, with the burdens and the struggles we all bear and that we all must face. My ministry as bishop and pastor is lived in this awareness. Our very short but inspirational psalm of today's Liturgy of the Word brings us as joint heirs with Christ to join our voices with those who praise his name. Such a beautiful summary today for the celebration of my Golden Jubilee. Praise the Lord, for great is his steadfast love towards us, and the faithfulness of the Lord endures forever. Praise the Lord. So let us all rejoice in him, now and always.